Does anyone have a question?
Stuart, I have a question. This is Tom.
Yes, Tom.
Um, it's so common to fall back across the way we've come. What are some landmarks that we can use to go towards growth rather than falling back?
Well, um, I mean, it just depends on what you need to do in your life. Understand? If you allow yourself to fall into those habits of returning to the way you lived 10 years ago, 15 years, 20 years ago, if you allow that self to happen, it means you just want to, you just want to bring it upon yourself. In order to sustain growth, it is a struggle. And the struggle depends upon what the depth of your need is, how deeply you need to grow, how deeply you need to connect with an energy that's infinite in the universe. That energy will sustain your growth. But if you allow yourself to fall back into, habits that existed 20 years ago, understand it's just a part of you that kind of wants to die. You're really letting go of that need to grow and succumbing to a thing inside yourself that says, I can't do it anymore. And that's the end of one's life, and struggle is to sustain growth is really a very profound aspect of this work that we do. Because in order for this energy of the kind of intensity of this class to work for you, you have to do the work. You have to need. Your need to be with God has to be, really has to be above everything else. That need will make you work on yourself. That need will push you forward. That need will allow you to undergo major transformations in yourself. And it really makes a creative life possible. So this is totally dependent upon each and every person, that does inner work, wants to grow, wants to have a more creative. I mean, look, uh, when Rudy was alive, he talked. At least he told me a number of times that he was going to live to 84 years old. And I think he told that to many, many people. Most people just assumed that he would be around for another 40 years and they could put off the intensity of their work. They could bask in the energy of the ashram and allow that to just kind of drift in it and consider that to be a spiritual life. When he passed at 45, it was like a lot of people were just right at the edge of the cliff. They truly didn't get the training. They didn't get the depth of what Rudy had to teach. And one day he was no longer there. He was no longer there. their need wasn't deep enough. They wanted to just float, you understand, on the river, and not really do everything within them to get upstream. So it depends on each and every person, how what they're willing to invest in a spiritual life, what they're willing to do to make it possible to continue to grow every day of their lives. And if they don't do what they have to do to do, I mean, then they have to accept, well, okay, it's okay to sit in a rocking chair in Palm Beach and gloat over how great the palm trees are. And as people get older, that is really very common. I think to me, one of the most deadly things in the world is retirement. It's like your life is suddenly over. And people psychologically, emotionally, they retire. I've had enough. That's it. I don't want to continue to work in myself to attain a state of, say, nothingness, a oneness with God. This is hard to do. And people that eventually make that kind of decision in themselves, yes, I mean, yeah, they can live comfortable lives. They can play golf every day. They can, you know, go out to good restaurants and drink Coco Locos and, sit in as I said, a rocking chair and gloat over the palm trees and the, coconuts and all the stuff that everybody assumes is paradise. And it's really not paradise. They manufacture it in their heads as a reason not to continue to do their inner work. And if they discontinue the inner work, then the growth stops. So, I mean, I don't have an answer for that, Tom. I mean, the answer is in each and every person that's sitting here. What am I willing to do to truly arrive at a place in myself where I am one with God? What am I willing to surrender? What am I willing to let go of? What am I willing to contribute to a situation? What am I not willing to take for granted? What am I not willing to assume about, what the future will bring? Or what am I willing to do to work in the present so that the future becomes something extraordinary? That willingness to work in the present on oneself and to take full responsibility for even one's limitations, that is the key to growth. And to do the work in the now and never assume, hey, it's going to be all right in a week, 10 days. A week or 10 days from now is totally dependent upon what you do now to grow. I mean this. And shit, you get tired. I'm tired. You know how tired I am? Can't believe how tired I am. And yet here I am I'm the only one who attends every class. I'm here. And I remember how people took Rudy for granted. They did. He used to go up to Big Indian and spend, 2 or 3 meditations complaining about how nobody's doing any work inside themselves, how they're all taking the work for granted. I mean, there were tapes of him talking like this. So what you become is totally dependent upon what you do in the moment. And if you work on yourself in great depth in the moment, understand you never worry about the future and it'll just unfold. You will become a servant of higher energy in the universe. You will reach a state of surrender inside where, you are capable of staying in touch with that higher energy in the universe. Otherwise, life just eats us alive. It eats us alive. Doesn't matter what we do, our profession, or this or that, how much money we have, how much money we don't have. Life eats people alive. So the secret, I think, to all of it is, what am I doing this moment to develop my spiritual life, to become a more conscious person, to become a more open person, to really live here with compassion, with love, and to be able to take upon myself creative projects that really test me as a human being.
Thank you, Stuart.
No, you're welcome, Tom. It's not only for you, it's for all of us. It's including me. I mean, I want to move from Stanford, and yesterday I found a house that would be totally fantastic. But it's not it's, I mean, it's in a place. And then I thought this place, needs major renovation. And I went, gulp. I've been through all that shit, renovating and fixing and I had to take a deep breath. Am I willing to do this? Do I need this for my growth? I really asked myself these questions. The house is fantastic. And if it was 40 years ago, I would, in 5 seconds, yes, let's do this. So, the thing I ask myself, what do I really need for my spiritual growth? Teaching 7 of these classes a week, online, in person, having retreats. At this point in my life, that's really a lot to do. I don't know any spiritual teachers that do anything like that. I mean, they go to church once a week on Sundays. They go to the synagogue on a Friday night. I mean, whatever. And if I went and got this house, I'd be living somewhere in New Jersey. So right, I don't get out like I used to, and going to the theater all the time and dance and this. And I used to, my life, restaurants, and it would be all right. But then I thought, holy shit, the work to renovate and fix and do all that. But it's possible. I'm going to go see the place soon, and we'll see what's going to happen.
Mm.
I mean, there's something crazy in me that I never take my life for granted, and I never get satisfied. That really, I almost think is kind of dangerous, never to get satisfied. Nothing represents the end of my life and satisfaction and some plateau I can live on that makes me feel like, hey, I'm really terrific. So does anyone else have a question they would like to ask? Okay, if there are no more questions, then there will be meditation, this class on Tuesday. On the 20th, I have to go get that eye procedure, so there won't be class that Monday. But there will be class Tuesday, there'll be class this evening, Pat will teach, and Monday night. And it's an ongoing force of Shakti, these men. And it's a blessing. I mean, as I say all the time, how many people on the planet Earth get to sit for an hour for this kind of energy and this kind of inner? It's such a rare and marvelous thing that we do here that I don't see any way I can ever take this for granted. Because, go find this anywhere. It's not to be found. So God bless you all. Thank you. And I'm looking forward to seeing everybody soon. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you very much, Stuart.
Thank you,
You're
Stuart.
welcome.